Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Excuse me. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Welcome. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Emery. Shout out to Louie. Shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Jaden. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Louie. Shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Isabella. Shout out to Callie or Collie. Shout out to Cheyenne. Shout out to RPG. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Fox. Shout out to Bree. Shout out to Hannah. Shout out to Chapman. Thank you so much. Shout out to Brayson. Shout out to Tristan. Shout out to Delaney. Shout out to Lexi. Shout out to Lucy. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Annabelle Guzman. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Annabelle. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Kalani. Shout out to Javier. Shout out to Imi. Shout out to Camila. Shout out to Lainey. Shout out to Addison. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Frightful. Shout out to Rieslin. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Princeton. Shout out to Isabel. Shout out to Aaliyah. Shout out to Joseph. Shout out to Yaretsi. Shout out to Larry. Congratulations. Shout out to Joshua. Shout out to Desiree Naranjo. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Desiree. Shout out to Bailey. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Cheryl. Shout out to Zaid. Shout out to Elsa. Shout out to Tatum. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Zena. Shout out to Lemon. Shout out to Isaiah. Shout out to Court. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Serenity. Shout out to Henry. Shout out to Felicity. Shout out to Eliana. Shout out to Penelope. Shout out to Omari, sorry. Shout out to Susu. Shout out to Graylin. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to Bryson. Shout out to Alejandro. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Yasmin. Shout out to Arturo. Shout out to Samora. Shout out to Emmy. Shout out to Neptune. Thank you so much for your patience. Shout out to Nezuko. Shout out to Adir. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Orion. Shout out to Addie. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Penelope. Oh, Penelope, I got you. Shout out to Monthon. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Johnny. Shout out to Carabella. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Ahmad. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Yashoda. Shout out to Max. Shout out to Ashley. Whoops. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Silas. Shout out to Tanaya. Shout out to Clara. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to Nyla. Shout out to Molly. Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to Edison. Shout out to Kylie. Shout out to Ryder. Shout out to Hadley. Shout out to these people. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. I wish I could write faster, but I don't. So I appreciate you taking the time to write your name. Shout out to Layali. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Layali. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out to Desiree Naranjo. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Desiree. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Louie. Shout out to Adeline. Isla. Shout out to Echo. Shout out to Pancake. Shout out to Timothy. Shout out to Kinsley. Shout out to Crystal. Shout out to Brenda. Shout out to Jalissa. Shout out to Marcus. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Obi. Shout out to Kunki. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Natalie. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Hortensia. Shout out to Samir. Shout out to Kayla. Shout out to Alina. Shout out to Addison. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Holly. Shout out to Kanak. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Piper. Shout out to Helen. Shout out to Felicity. Shout out to Cat's Eye. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Alexa. Shout out to Layla. Shout out to Roxanne. Shout out to Miracle. Shout out to Kenzie. Shout out to Coco. Shout out to Jocelyn. Shout out to Axel. Shout out to Miracle. Oh, I already put Miracle. Shout out to Max. Shout out to Rain. Shout out to Tara. Shout out to Adrian. Adrian. Shout out to Kayla. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Maddie. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Rosabelle. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to Cheyenne. Shout out to Mateo. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Jen. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to Fred. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Isabella. Shout out to Deborah. Shout out to Dante. Shout out to Azul. Shout out to Meadow. Shout out to Milo or Milo. Shout out to Sky. Shout out to Johnny. Shout out to Tatum. Shout out to Angela. Shout out to Ahil. Shout out to Ava. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Matilda. Shout out to Shelby. Shout out to Fernanda. Shout out to Nolan. Shout out to Brayson. Shout out to Kit. Shout out to Isaac. Shout out to Myra. Shout out to Maven. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Wesley. Shout out to April. Shout out to Dalen. Shout out to Lexi. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Jayla. Shout out to Jassy. Shout out to Elliot. Shout out to Precious. Shout out to Janessa. Shout out to Al-Reem. Shout out to Favi. Shout out to Ipsa. Shout out to these people. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. I live stream every day. I hope you can subscribe so you know when I'm gonna go live stream. Shout out to Tom Nolan. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Tom Nolan. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Freddie Castellon. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Freddie Castellon. Shout out to Kimberly. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Cadence. Shout out to Freddie. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Freddie Castellon. Thank you so much. Shout out to Aaliyah. Shout out to Esmeralda. Shout out to Aspen. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Sana. Shout out to Daphne. Shout out to Driana. Shout out to Sarai. Shout out to Ariana. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to Kareem. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Omari. Shout out to Jayla. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Thingo. Shout out to Adil. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Ander. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Landon. Shout out to Me Lily. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Willie. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Seth. Shout out to Esmeralda. Shout out to Clave. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Kit. Shout out to Sun. Shout out to Malik. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Lucy. Shout out to Leslie. Shout out to Anadi. Shout out to Rihanna. Shout out to Kayla. Shout out to Kensley. Shout out to Claudette. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Morgan. Shout out to Kenny. Shout out to Elizabeth. Shout out to Lyric. Shout out to Kendall. Shout out to Aubrey. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Neji Salvador. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Neji Salvador. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Kai. Shout out to Leo. Shout out to Lucia. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Jennifer. Shout out to Crystal. Shout out to Nova. Shout out to Malaya. Shout out to Adeline. Shout out to Jean. Shout out to Yana Yuri. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Meadow. Shout out to Naomi. Shout out to Maine. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Alora. Shout out to Marlo. Shout out to Anaya. I'm gonna write Anaya again because I kind of messed up right there. Shout out to Anaya. Shout out to Samara. Lyric, I got you. Shout out to Domingo. Shout out to Quinn. Whoops. Shout out to Quinn. Shout out to Mari, or Mary. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Layla. Shout out to Kareem. Shout out to Britt. Shout out to Ezekiel. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Jenna. Shout out to Izzy. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to Brynnis. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Carter. Shout out to Miguel. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Mary. Shout out to Lucilla. Shout out to Dalen. Shout out to Josiah. Shout out to Ilani. Shout out to Frank. Shout out to Eileen. Shout out to Boston. Shout out to Kangley. Shout out to Matthew. Shout out to Brenda. Shout out to Mila or Mila. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Madeline. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to these people. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. On to the next page. I live stream every day around the same time as this. Shout out to Archer. Shout out to Addie. Shout out to Alexine. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Tatum. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Ken. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Marion. Shout out to Marion. Shout out to Royal. Shout out to Ember. Shout out to Miley. Shout out to Ayana. Shout out to Leyanis. Shout out to Joseph. Shout out to Samara. Shout out to Zariah. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Alma. Shout out to Rodney. I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. Thank you for your patience. Shout out to Messiah. Shout out to Summer. Shout out to Grisha. Or Grisha. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Samuel. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Nima. Shout out to Leilani. Shout out to Cassidy. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Sai. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Maddox. Shout out to Paulina. Shout out to Jonica. Shout out to Layla. Shout out to Arturo. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Cadence. Shout out to Liam. Thank you, Sadie. Shout out to Sadie. Shout out to Kiona, or Kiana. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Brenda. Thank you. Shout out to John. Shout out to DeLeonis. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Rihanna. Shout out to Mercedes. Shout out to Mazzy or Macy. Shout out to Rowan. Shout out to Henry or Jenry. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Leon. Shout out to Atik. Shout out to Trinity. Shout out to Sarai. Shout out to Maria. Shout out to Zaiden. Shout out to Oracle. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Diana. Shout out to Angelina. Shout out to Dom. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Levi. Shout out to London. Shout out to Kalia. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Priya. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Trinity. Shout out to Wyatt. Shout out to Victoria. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Kinsley. Shout out to Gracie. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Favor. Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to Colton. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Kingley. Shout out to Mercelanis. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Ken. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to Irene. Shout out to Dua. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Raheem. Diana, I got you. Shout out to Evan. Shout out to Kiki. Shout out to Ayman. Shout out to Elizabeth. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Jayla. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Gojo. Shout out to Lucy. Shout out to Louie. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Shelby. Shout out to Cassidy. Shout out to these people. Shout out to Hadia. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Astrid. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Esther. Shout out to Eleni. Shout out to Adonis. Shout out to Luciana. Shout out to Kira, or Kyra, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to Julia. Shout out to Gab. Shout out to Amal. Shout out to Nia, or Naya. Shout out to these people. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. I live stream every day around the same time as this, or more likely earlier. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live streams. I appreciate you taking the time to write your name. Also check out my channel. I'm NessDIYcorner. I post other content. I would truly appreciate it if you check it out as well. Thank you so much. I will see you all next time. Bye.